You're tuned to The Drive on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. Steelers Nation Radio.
Good afternoon, Steeler Nation. It's The Drive here on a busy Monday. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson with you for the next 2 hours. And Matt, it is happening. It is happening quick. It is happening heavy. It is happening often. One of the busiest days around the National Football League.
It's a great day. I mean, I love this whole week, but Monday gets better and better every year. It's the first day of the new year that I actually wore shorts into the the studio. It's like
lovely outside.
It's just like a totally new dawn is upon us. It's warm. It's spring. They're fledgling, flowers and bunnies running around. It's Easter time. It's
the neighborhood kids are out riding their bikes.
Exactly, right. What couldn't be more exciting?
No, it is. It's awesome. The weather has us in a good mood. It's sunny and 70s here in Pittsburgh. And, of course, the Steelers are busy. There's a ton going on around the NFL as the negotiating period opened this afternoon at noon. Matt, we're going to get into a million different reports and signings, Steelers-related and around the league. I'll say this now. I will probably say this again. These are all reports. These are all agreements.
Glad you said that, yeah.
These are all expected to be. Mm-hmm. None of this is official until it is official Wednesday at 4 o'clock. And we have seen in the past where things have changed. I don't know if Steelers fans remember, but during this day, during this little stretch here, a few years ago, 5-6 years ago, it was reported by everybody in the business, Tyson Alualu is going back to the Jacksonville Jaguars on a 2-year, $16 million deal. And then a day later, Tyson Alualu changed his mind and actually ended up signing with the Steelers and not going back to Jacksonville. So this stuff is not written in stone.
I think that was a COVID year. Like he had a hard time getting a flight or something, and
there was some
Cam
wonky
him up
stuff
and,
with that.
Yeah.
But so these are all reports. These are all expected to be. These are all kind of waiting in the queue until Wednesday when they can become official.
Yes,
so I just wanted to preface that.
And every year there'll be one thing across the league that changes in the next 24, 48 hours or so. It just happens every time because it's not official. You won't find this stuff on Steelers.com, or they are not officially in the books yet. But we have to comment on it.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot going on, and that's how the league is set up.
Exactly right. And so maybe I'll make that disclaimer again at some point in hour number 2, but we always have to state that from the jump here. Matt, a lot of Steelers-related news, but I think probably the biggest, or at least the most headline-grabbing, is the Steelers have once again traded and extended a wide receiver around the National Football League, acquiring Michael Pittman, a name that we've mentioned and brought up in these hypothetical conversations the last few weeks, wide receiver from the Indianapolis Colts for a late-round pick swap, and with that, a new 3-year, $59 million deal for Michael Pittman.
I love it. I mean, my final 2 non-Steeler targets were Pittman and Ayuk, and they're very, very different, and they're different, different levels of risk and all that good stuff. When they signed Pierce, I thought, okay, now I think you can actually get that. I think that can happen because there's a reason that they waited until now to make the Pittman move. As soon as they locked, I'm talking about the Colts, locking up Pierce. Fine, they chose Pierce over Pittman. I understand that. Youth, he's coming off his best year. So be it. That doesn't diminish at all what Pittman brings to the table for me. I mean, you get him for nothing. It's a late pick swap. That's great. I mean, you're basically just buying his contract.
Especially when you look at what the Buffalo Bills gave up for DJ Moore.
Right.
I mean, we could argue about the players, but I don't think they're that big of a second-round pick and a late-round pick swap difference in talent.
That's a great way of looking at it. I mean, I expected, these receivers, and it's coming to fruition too, that Wan'Dale Robinson and Pierce, and as we record this, Dobbs is not signed yet, are going to sign for pretty big money. And I would rather just have Pittman on game day than Dobbs or Robinson for sure. He's super reliable, big, physical. I mean, you look at Metcalf, Freiermuth, Washington, and him, they're behemoths. I mean, they got
some size.
Physical dudes.
Yeah, Pittman's 6'4", 225-ish.
Yeah, I mean, he's not much smaller than Metcalf, and he plays bigger. I mean, he does all the dirty work. He'll block. He goes over the middle. He's not a deep threat and never really was, but he has, long completions in his career. I think he fits his system really, really well. And I didn't see the extension coming. When they made the trade, I'm like, okay, you rent him for 1 year. eat up his salary, see where it goes from there. But the money they got, or the money they added on, seems very team friendly.
Under $20 million?
Considering today's wide receiver market, he's going to be someone people like here a lot. Just his brand of game is very Steelers-esque to me.
28 years old, right in that kind of prime of the career. I mean, you look, he has had, with I think we can all agree, less than ideal quarterback situation his 6 years in Indianapolis.
Have you seen that? I actually retweeted something from Warren Sharp saying, all his quarterbacks. It's mind-boggling. I'll pull it up in a minute. Go ahead and do what you're doing there.
And despite that, the production jumps off the page. He's had multiple 1,000-yard seasons, a 900-yard season, 88 receptions, 99 receptions, 109 receptions, 69 receptions, 80 receptions. Matt, in his 6-year NFL career, he's missed 5 games due to injury, and that's it.
That's it.
I
right.
mean, he
takes hits, and he's not just finesse bump out of bounds guy.
He checks a lot of boxes for me. You were on this early. I mean, this is something you've been bringing up since before we went to the Combine. I don't think the Colts have enough money to pay everybody.
Yeah.
How does that end up working? And when everyone was kind of talking about Alec Pierce, you were like, I wouldn't mind Michael Pittman Jr. in trading for him, as opposed to trying to play the open market bidding war game for one of these wide receivers. I think this makes a ton of sense, and it's the complete opposite, it feels like to me, of where we've been the past couple years, where we've been jonesing for some wide receiver movement and news. This, right off the bat, good business, smart business, good player, fits the bill of what you're looking for. I'm with you with kind of what you said a few minutes ago when we started. Like, I love this. I think
I love it.
Of all the scenarios that we laid out, this, I think, would have been towards the top of the list.
Yeah.
And you get it done for a very minimal cost.
It's just your cap. I mean, it's just the amount of money you're spending and paying him cap-wise, and you move that around a little bit. I'm not sure exact details, but I assume by extending him, you also lessened his hit this year. I'm just assuming that because that's how that always works. So 2 things. I'm sure we'll get to a ton over the next couple. We definitely in the next couple of months, but you can still take a first-round receiver.
Absolutely.
I think you still take a day 2 receiver, because you don't want to be too old in that room either. I'd love to add a 22-year-old second-round pick in a super deep receiver draft, but I'm basically done with receiver for now. But here's that list. Like, people might be like, oh, he probably played with Luck and all those guys. No, his rookie year, he played with a washed-up Carson Wentz and Jacob Eason. In 2022, he played with Sam Ehlinger, Nick Foles, and a totally washed-up Matt Ryan. 2023, he plays with rookie Anthony Richardson, who was a wild stallion to say the least, and Gardner Minshew, who might be the best guy he's ever played with.
He had 1,100 yards that season and 109 receptions.
Okay. And then in 2024, Richardson again, and Joe Flacco, who was a shell of himself. And this past year, Daniel Jones, Riley Leonard, and yes, Phillip Rivers. Those have been his quarterbacks. I mean,
and not 2015 Matt Ryan, not 2012
Rivers, Flacco.
Rivers. Yeah.
Right. Now, I hope Rodgers isn't the next one that he plays with guys over the hill. I don't think that's the case, though.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
It is, and I think it's a great fit, and I think it's a great move to address that wide receiver room. Still gives you plenty of options in the draft at pick 21. We'll get to all of that, obviously, if not today, certainly this week. I think the other thing that everyone's talking about, Matt, another thing that we discussed, adding to that secondary and the Steelers getting that done. Jamel Dean, 3 years, $36.75 million contract, reported by Mike Garofalo and a lot of the NFL insiders. Matt, he's not necessarily 27 years old like we had kind of speculated, but man, he's coming off of an outstanding season. And I think clearly now you can start to see how they envision the secondary coming together.
Yes, with the only exception of I just don't know where Ramsey fits in today. 4 o'clock on Monday. Is he the starting free safety and they're just leaving him there, or is he the starting slot and then you're basically done in the corner room? So they signed Samuel. Asante Samuel was the first move I saw, from a Steeler perspective.
Early today.
Yeah, I'm like, 1-year deal. That's solid. If he's your 3, fine. If he's your 2, fine. And at that point, I'm thinking they're probably still talking to Pierre or maybe Stokes from the Raiders, who they'd been really, know a lot about. Or maybe they're just going to draft one on day 2, or maybe even in the first round, and that would be a fine corner room. I did not see this big move following that. Now, there's 2 negatives to Dean. He is 29, But he signed a 3-year deal. I assume they can get out of it after 2. I mean, just that's how all these deals are. Very few free agents see the last year of their deal, period. And he's had an injury history. An extensive one, that might be a big word. But he had 2 small injuries last year. He missed some time the 2 previous years to that. But he's also logged a ton of snaps in his career, though, too. And I didn't know this until basically on the ride here. He doesn't count against the comp pick game, which is really interesting to me too.
Because he was cut by the Bucs.
That's what I thought the rule was, but I've never heard this version of the rule. A year ago, he reworked his deal to make less this season in 2025,
okay,
so he could become a free agent now. I assume that's thinking.
Before I hit 30. My last chance to really cash in.
This would be my last big payday.
That's smart business.
I'm betting
by him.
on myself.
Totally
bet on himself. And I didn't realize reworking your deal doesn't count against the comp pick game. So it's down the list of things to discuss. But the Steelers added Pittman and Dean and have not influenced their comp pick situation at all. So everybody that's left has helped their comp pick situation. Now, I don't know how that'll play out going forward. But I thought it was noteworthy. So he's 29 and he's a little bit injury issues, but I don't love the advanced metrics in terms of corners and things like that. But I haven't hesitated to mention them with Pierre or Porter, who were like the best in the league for all those things. Dean was too. Dean's right there with those guys as any metric you look at. And again, I don't take them as gospel, especially for corners. PFF grades, next gen stuff. He's one of the best corners in the league, and he's big. I mean, he's 6'2". I think when we see him, we'll be shocked. He's got shoulders and he's thick and zone.
Not like a lanky corner.
He's not gonna look like Samuel. I mean, Samuel's a smaller style, but they're more zone than man. Both those guys, which implies to me this defense is gonna be more zone than man, which I expected. So he was kind of a cherry on top. I didn't really see that one coming.
A lot of you mentioned if you look at the underlying analytics from the websites and the companies that do that, he's graded very highly.
Very highly.
But there's a lot that jumps off the last 2 years. 4 interceptions.
I think 3 last year.
3. Let's just go with last year. Last year, 3 interceptions, 9 passes defensed, 2 forced fumbles, a sack, a TFL.
Okay.
I mean, so he's he's impactful in other ways too, just than purely in coverage. Multiple interceptions.
Their pass rush wasn't very good.
Multiple interceptions, multiple forced fumbles, added a sack in there, added a TFL in there. 14 games last year. So as you mentioned, he did miss 3. But I think, man, when he's on the field, him and Joey Porter Jr. have a chance to be one of the better tandems in the NFL.
I tend to agree. And they both have size. And that's another.
Seems to be a theme.
Yeah, we're talking about smaller positions on the field, but they're getting big people. And one of the issues with Samuel, obviously, is durability as well. As long as one of the two is available, you should be fine with Eccles and Ramsey still in the mix. And maybe they still draft one, but I would think that's a low priority now. I mean, I would think it's like day three type of guy, right? So I don't. You're not done in the secondary. I still think you need
both of these positions. You're not done in the secondary. You're not done at wide receiver, but it's a good start.
It's a real good start. Yeah, I mean, you got some foundation in place, and I've had some people being like, "Man, these are 2 old guys they got." I'm like, I mean,
28 and 29.
Yeah,
they're not young, but
right.
I wouldn't call them old either.
I mean, if you thought the Steelers were just going to blow everything up and get rid of everyone that's 26 or older and dolphin it up, that wasn't going to happen, folks.
The Dolphins have done some crazy things today. Malik Willis has a new home.
Yeah.
There's also been, we've talked about some Steelers imports. There's been some exports. Pierre and Gainwell finding new homes outside of Pittsburgh. We've got plenty more to discuss here as we roll along. That's just the appetizer. There are about 100 other significant signings and deals that
probably more to come while we're on the air.
Yeah, involve the Steelers and elsewhere. We will continue to discuss them all as we roll along here. Just getting started on a busy Monday on the Drive. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It is Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network.
What's up, NFL fans? The NFL Draft is finally here. And while you might not know who your team is drafting this year, you do know your watch party's #1 pick. Bud Light. The clean, crisp taste that has all the scouts talking. Guess that's why it's been the group's go-to draft beer season after season. Be sure to order a round for the table before your team's on the clock. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's all happening here on the first day of the negotiating period, one of the busiest days of the NFL calendar year, and Matt and I still have plenty to discuss. We talked about Michael Pittman Jr., we talked about Jamal Dean. With that, Matt, of course, there's been some exports, too. Yeah. We talked about Asante Samuel Jr. as well, coming back on
another one we
on a
should bring
one-year
up,
deal.
too.
Cole
Yeah,
Holcomb has
been retained.
Well, and again, I'll say this every second, expected to be. Reported to be Cole Holcomb, 2-year, $5 million deal. Mm-hmm. Makes a lot of sense, I think, for,
I thought so too.
For a quality
That's
depth
a real
player.
solid piece.
Yes.
Let's stick with that just for a minute. I really like Holcomb as a 3, and if injuries hit, I think he's very suitable to be a 2. Not known as a great special teamer, but he is a special teamer. I've been calling for Harrison to get cut and save another 4 or 5, something like that. I would think this ensures that's the next shoe to drop at the linebacker spot. But, and I'm not trying to stir the pot or anything, if Queen were to get traded, it gets a heck of a lot easier to do it now. And then you could really attack. And I bring that up because it's such a good linebacker class. You know, if C.J. Allen's sitting there in the first round to you, it's like, well, maybe get young here and fast. And,
sure.
So gives you a lot of mobility going forward too. I like this pick. I like this move a lot.
No, I do too. I certainly
There's
do.
no downside to it.
No, for a 2-year, $5 million deal.
Right.
I think
worth
that's
that.
Yeah, 100%. There have been some exports too. Kenneth Gainwell, Steelers team MVP. It was a fun year. Mm-hmm. He is now heading south to Tampa Bay to the Bucs. 2 years, $14 million, according to Jeremy Fowler.
Yeah, and I don't know. This is also new. I don't know how important the comp game is to Steeler folks. Do they want Siamalu and these other dudes to leave to big deals and end up with some picks?
If you're trying to go big game hunting in the draft for a quarterback next year, more comp picks is not a bad thing.
I know people are going to like it on draft day this year with all the extra picks. So Gainwell's a loss. He definitely is. I actually did a podcast Friday after we broke up saying I think they have to sign an unrestricted free agent running back.
Yes, you did. That was kind of your last.
Yes,
last departing thought heading into this week.
And all of a sudden, Walker's gone, Algier's gone, Gainwell's gone. So I wonder what the secondary or 1A running back situation is going to be for the Steelers. Now, you could trade for one and it won't hurt your comp pick game at all. I also don't think you need to be married to the whole comp pick thing. That's why I keep bringing it up. I think it's interesting. It's a new development that I didn't see coming.
It's something you should have in your mind as part of the conversation, but it shouldn't be the end-all, be-all.
No, right. I mean, maybe they wait for a running back to get cut and you scoop him up. But I don't want to just go to the draft with Warren and Johnson. That would scare me.
Same. But that would make it feel like you would really have to prioritize running back, and it doesn't feel like a great year to do so.
And I've gotten tweets, ATN signed with the Saints, Walker signed with the Chiefs, so Love's going to follow the Steelers. I'm like, no. Those two signed because they weren't going to get to 9 and 10 because Love's going in the top 8.
Might go fourth.
Right, he might go to
Titans.
Washington or Tennessee or the Giants or
Yes. So good for Kenneth Gainwell. Much deserved payday for him after a really good year. He's at that point in his career. This was probably his last chance to cash in.
I would think, yeah.
We wish him all the best and hope he does well down in Tampa, and certainly was a much needed piece of the division champion winning puzzle this past season.
They had a receiving back, Rashad White,
yes,
who's up for free agency too. So he's leaving. Gainwell comes in.
And another guy who was an important piece down the stretch and throughout the season for the Steelers, cornerback James Pierre.
Yeah.
Heading to the Minnesota Vikings. 2 years, $8.5 million deal, 3.7 of that guaranteed.
I thought he'd come in higher than that.
I did too.
Yeah, so I would rather have the 2 that they brought back than Pierre, or of any combination. I think that's the combination I would prefer. But watching him walk out for that price was like, But he had two things that I was concerned about. 1-year wonders at corners rarely repeat, but he was really, really good last year, and he's 30. I mean, he's already the magic age of when things usually go wrong. But I was shocked that they got him at that price. So, all in all, you look at Gainwell and Pierre when we went to Latrobe. If you told me both those guys signed the deals they did, it's like that was a successful mission for those two young men.
Absolutely.
Right? Heck yeah. Their last year in Pittsburgh paid off handsomely.
It sure did. And I think it's like I was kind of saying with Gainwell, it's nice to see Pierre, maybe not the payday we expected, but certainly a nice payday for him at this point in his career.
He did a lot of good things here.
Yeah, and I wonder too, it's easy to just kind of look at the money and think, would you rather have had Pierre? Would you rather have had Samuel? But we don't know what the conversations, the role, it's a 1-year deal for Samuel as opposed to a 2-year deal for Pierre.
Would Pierre been excited about Dean showing up? Yeah.
A
Not
lot
that they always have say in the matter, but there's more to it than that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so those two, Pierre.
I think the Vikes signed one of the Steelers' assistant coaches, or I think there's some Minnesota Steeler Pierre connection there, and I don't know it off the top of my head, but I think there is familiarity there.
Matt, the Miami Dolphins have been pretty busy here today. Yeah. The first big move I think that everyone expected would come, but man, the numbers are still jarring. Set to release Tua Tagovailoa, of course, quarterback there for the Dolphins, and will take on a NFL record $99 million in dead cap money, split over 2 years. But he is still owed $54 million from the Dolphins this season.
Right.
It'll count nearly $100 million split over 2 years against their cap for them to part ways with Tua. Again, I think we all knew this was going to be the case, but the numbers are still staggering.
Yeah, and they had to do it. He doesn't fit the new system as well. He was a McDonald guy at all, if anything. But to this point, he's not a starting caliber quarterback. He needs to go somewhere and go to the car wash a little bit. He's already been linked to Atlanta, which I don't think is a good fit at all. But he's out there. I originally thought, and I still do, that Miami was as tanking as any team in the league. Not because they want to, because they have to.
They surveyed their landscape and they said, we don't have much to work with.
We got nothing.
Here.
And they traded Minka. They signed Willis. So the two other big moves for them. Their defense has nothing. But the offense isn't in that bad a shape. They've drafted O-line lately. Center's a stud. Achane, Waddle. I mean, so it's not a terrible offense, but Tua had to go. Everyone knows I have a infatuation with Willis. I was shocked I thought he'd be a little pricier than that too.
I thought he would be. So let's go there before we talk about the Minkah Fitzpatrick trade. Malik Willis to Miami, 3 years, $67.5 million deal, 45 of it fully guaranteed. So that's that's about $23 million a year. It's kind of like the Justin Fields deal with inflation
with
a little bit.
With inflation plus. Yeah. I mean, so.
But I didn't think Miami would be the landing spot for him either.
I just didn't think they'd have the money, and they're looking at it the same way. Is we're going to give him every chance to sink or swim.
You think they'll keep Achane and Waddle?
Yeah, I think. I mean, at least through the trade deadline, or going into the season with those guys, I would imagine. And maybe we found our quarterback. That was my whole infatuation with him. And you might find your quarterback without having to give up picks or anything. You might.
Which is a great place to be.
Great place to be.
Ask the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, right. So they might have found him. And if they didn't, they're probably picking in the top 5 anyway. And maybe it's somewhere in between, and the Steelers make him an offer a year from now. Like he could be trade bait a year from now if he's good, not great, and Arch Manning sitting there they have to take.
Sure,
or whatever.
Who knows? Or he's good, not great. You still draft the Arch Manning type, and then you have a year where it's kind of the passing of the torch.
Figure it out. Right.
Yeah.
That's why I like the, from a Steeler perspective too, from anyone. Arizona, I just thought he was alluring. I know that the sample size is very small, and he might fall on his face, and people are like, Matt, you're dumb. Like, so what? It didn't even hurt them.
Yeah. The Jets aren't crippled by the Justin Fields contract.
No.
And in fact, the Jets getting a little busy here.
Yeah.
With the Dolphins. You don't see that very often.
That just means he was going to get cut. And
Yes. So the Miami Dolphins sending, formerly of this parish, Minkah Fitzpatrick, to the New York Jets, in exchange for a 7th-round draft pick. And with that, the Jets giving Minkah a 3-year, $40 million extension.
Yeah. So really, this is the same as the Pittman deal. So I'm sure some people are like, Minka's shot, he stinks. No, he just signs too big a deal, and they're not going to go anywhere this year. When originally I heard this, I thought maybe the Jets are just going to rent him until the trade deadline. Give up a 7th-round pick now, eat his money because they get a ton of cap space, flip him at the deadline, maybe the Steelers, and get a 4th-round pick out of it, increase their investment in terms of draft picks. I think Minkah can still play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I don't understand exactly the details of the extension, but it makes me think that they're in it to stick around with, that they're not just renting him, they're not just using their cap space. I thought they might be doing that with Breece Hall, too. Franchise him, trade him at the trade deadline. Now, they could do that with all these dudes because what they have going for them is we can handle the money. We want picks.
Yep.
But they did some weird stuff, too, like Demario Davis.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the oldest linebackers in the league. Like,
maybe it is like a preemptive, they realize how many draft picks they're going to make in the next couple years.
Yeah.
And no matter how bad we think we are or that this is clearly a rebuild, we still need some veterans in the room who know how to be pros, who can teach these guys how you work day in and day out and last in this league.
And Davis and Minkah are perfect for that.
Examples of that.
And their seat is also unbelievably hot, too. Like, we're going to get fired if we don't. We may lose
win some games this year.
Yeah, we lose 2 games to get the first overall pick. Arch doesn't do us any good because I'm not working here anymore.
Because I'm looking for a job.
Right. But their whole approach has been curious, but I guess I kind of get it. Miami's, I totally understand.
Yeah.
We knew that was coming.
Yeah. It's been a busy one there in the AFC East for sure. Some more moves that we have to get to. Some other significant news around the league. Tyler Linderbaum has a new home. Jalen Phillips has a new home. Some other big deals, some big names on the move that we will discuss as we kind of continue to go around the league and just react to all the different moving and shaking that has transpired here in the last 4 or so hours since the negotiating period began in the NFL this afternoon. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson, it is The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Imports and exports season fully underway. Matt Williamson here. The second week in March. It is a beautiful day in western Pennsylvania. The sun is shining. The kids are outside playing. The Steelers have some new shiny toys. We've had to say goodbye to some familiar names. And a reminder,
a lot more to come.
These are all just reports at this point. All these deals are waiting in purgatory until Wednesday at 4 o'clock when they can become official. And so there can still be changes in movement.
So there's no deadlines or times that matter tomorrow. Huh? Today was noon. It started.
Yes.
Wednesday it's 4. It becomes official.
When it becomes official.
Okay.
Yes, when these can start to get
Tuesday's
processed.
Just more like today.
Technically, Jonnu Smith is still a Steeler.
Well, sure.
Until 4 o'clock on Wednesday when that becomes official. I just want to know the exact timeline
per the NFL.
Yes. So that's kind of the way it's all laid out. With that, Matt, we're just getting started. But you remember Billy Mays, legendary public service announcement infomercial guy, Billy Mays here, OxyClean, Billy Mays.
Oh, okay,
But wait, there's more. Billy Mays. Matt, we had speculated a lot about where Tyler Linderbaum could end up. We didn't think it would be Baltimore. Talked about both the Harbaughs. Talked about.
We've hardly talked about like DJ Moore and Max Crosby. We've not even talked about Max Crosby. That seems like it happened 3 weeks ago, actually. Right? Yeah.
We haven't even mentioned Max Crosby yet.
Right.
You know what? Let's start there.
Okay.
Because I guess this kind of Linderbaum is a little bit of a ripple effect. Over the weekend, Max Crosby heading from the Las Vegas Raiders to the Baltimore Ravens, 2 first-round draft picks for Mad Max. That's a big swing for Baltimore.
It is. And like my son, he's like, yeah, but they're late picks. I'm like, no, they aren't. This one's like 13. And do we know that they're a powerhouse all of a sudden?
No.
I mean, I totally get it. Crosby's awesome. And I would say this on Ravens Nation Radio, but I do think the Bills and the Ravens are showing a little bit of desperation with these 2 moves.
I would think that's a fair way to put it.
You gave up big picks. I mean, DJ Moore for a 2 was a whoa. Crosby for 2 firsts, not deep in the 20s necessarily. First one definitely is not.
If they were picking 28th or 29th this year, it's a different conversation.
Yeah, right. I mean, you had a real setback year. To think that he's the only thing keeping you from being the best team in the league, and both teams have outstanding, unbelievable quarterbacks from the same draft class that were battling for MVP and are still as good as they ever were. They also have new coaches.
Yep.
They've
also got a lot of needs that they have to fill. And now, I mean, if you're Baltimore,
the interior line's a disaster.
Right. And you've got no first-round pick.
No, and they're losing other people left and right. Linderbaum, likely, guys we expected them to, and you don't have a first-round pick. I guess it makes you better, but it could go wrong quick.
I think it addresses your biggest need, which was pass rush for Baltimore.
Their pressure rates and things like that were horrendous.
Them and the Colts were just
really
crying
bad.
out for pass rushers.
Especially off good teams.
Yes. But with filling that void, you might have, and I used this analogy last week, you might have robbed Peter to pay Paul a little bit.
Oh, I think you definitely did.
Because your defensive line got much better, but your offensive line is getting worse.
It's getting worse. They're still pass catchers away, too. I think they definitely need a receiver plus. I know that that big a fish, they're a hard fish to fry, but I would get another running back for sure. I mean, the supporting cast around Lamar all of a sudden isn't great. They don't have the deep. They lost 2 tight ends today. I still think the defensive tackle situation is very tenuous. Now, I wonder, do they know Matabuke is going to be back? Maybe they do, and then they're like, okay, now we
can get a little more aggressive.
Yeah, we're loaded on defense, and we'll just draft offense like crazy. For their sake, I hope that's where they're at. Because if they need to find his replacement and an entire interior line.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. But Crosby's awesome, and the Steelers will hate playing against him twice a year or 3 times a year. He's awesome.
Is there anybody more upset about that trade than Joe Burrow?
Nah, good point.
He's like, look at these pass rushers I have to line up with 6 times a year. I got Watt and Highsmith and Cam in Pittsburgh.
And they're about to lose Hendrickson.
I got Myles Garrett. I got Max Crosby and Trey Hendrickson's about to be gone. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, maybe they're the only people less happy than Burrow are the Bengals offensive tackles.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right.
No doubt.
Orlando Brown.
And Tyler Linderbaum, as we had speculated, is leaving Baltimore, and he ends up landing with the Raiders.
A lot of center movement.
Yeah.
There always is at the beginning of free agency because teams just want to know who their guy is. Like the Bills locked up their dude.
Yep.
The Bills we're going to lose one of our guard or our center. Let's lock up the center. We have a great offensive line coach that retired. I have a new head coach. We can't change centers.
Centers.
Center's gold, man. I mean, people know that. I mean, Pouncey, Dirt, Webby, Frazier, and nobody knows that better than Pittsburgh people.
And if you're the Raiders, you just put your money where your mouth is in that regard. 3 years, $81 million for Tyler Linderbaum, highest paid center in NFL history for the 3-time Pro Bowler. Matt, I think 2 things are true. And maybe 3 things are true.
Mm-hmm.
1, Linderbaum's really good, top 5 center in the league.
Great player. I was going to say that too. I would say 3 things too.
2, that's a little bit of an overpay.
That's my other thing on the list.
But 3, if you're the Raiders, who cares? You can afford it.
It's for them. It's worth it.
It's totally
because
worth
all that
it.
matters is Mendoza. I mean, that's all that matters because they're going to take Powers Johnson, move him full time to guard, which probably fits him better. He's like 320, and put Linderbaum right in the middle, and that's who I want my first overall pick taking snaps from for the next 5 years or whatever. But they overspent on a very, very good player, but they probably should have.
Absolutely.
All's true. Yeah.
Listen, you got the money, spend it.
Yeah, right.
And it makes a ton of sense as to why the Ravens couldn't match that deal. It makes a ton of sense as to why the Raiders gave him that deal. I got to imagine Zach Frazier's agent was licking his chops a little bit seeing that, but that's a conversation. That's a conversation for next year.
Yeah.
But for Mendoza, for the Raiders, for Bill, you're rarely going to get an opportunity to sign a 3-time Pro Bowl offensive lineman who's 25 years old, right in the middle of his prime,
and you're going to spend
on the
more
open market
than you should for him, but you rarely have the opportunity to do that. That's a good way of putting it. Sometimes I got all this money in capital, but I can't use it on the things I want to use it on. I can't just go get my homes off the open market. right. If I have enough money, I can buy the nicest vehicle out there. NFL teams can't.
No, you can't. A bunch of more big moves here,
Tons,
Matt. Jalen Phillips, who was part of the Dolphins, I guess kind of the beginning of the fire sale for the Dolphins at the trade deadline, went to the Eagles. He has signed a 4-year, $120 million deal with the Carolina Panthers, $80 million of that guaranteed.
Yeah, and I think he's passed the durability hurdles. I mean, he had substantial stuff, but this is several teams that have had no hesitation investing in him, either with draft picks or a contract. He's a great player. He's a great player, and I think that completes the Panthers front. Derek Brown's kind of the anchor in the middle. Now you have a complement on the outside. They drafted 2 defensive ends, I think in round 3 last year as well. So the defense might actually have some things to hang their hat on. And I kind of make fun of the Panthers, but they did win their division last year.
They did.
Right, and they just got better.
Let's see here. The Tennessee Titans, another one of those teams that we knew had some money to spend. Another name that we discussed in kind of our big free agency previews over the last few weeks. Former Saints cornerback Alontae Taylor. He was one of those guys.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
He was one of those guys that we talked about right in that kind of 27-year-old sweet spot. 3-year, $60 million deal for him to go to Music City.
He was on my Steeler list, but I thought it was a little pie in the sky because I thought he'd be 15-ish million. 20, wow. He's good inside. He's good out. They need it for sure.
The Titans also signed Cordell Flott, 3-year, $45 million deal.
I didn't hear that either.
So they went shopping for 2 cornerbacks today.
Nice. And they got Wan'Dale Robinson, too. That was the last news I heard from them, which is the Wan'Dale Robinson one is interesting to me just because he's a young quarterback's best friend. He's easy completions. He's layup throws over and over. And that's exactly what you need for Ward.
John Franklin Myers to the Titans. The Titans have maybe been the busiest of anybody today.
You put him next to Simmons.
You were singing John Franklin Myers' praises last week and how underrated he is. 3 years, $63 million.
So they have a new coaching staff, of course, and they had the most cap space in the league. Well, maybe the Raiders did after the Crosby trade, but as of 2 weeks ago, they had the most. They trade Sweat for Jermaine Johnson because it's really a 4-man, 4-down-and-go type of defense. It's not a nose tackle, slow play. Sweat didn't fit at all. So now they have 2 defensive tackles that are in their prime to go with Johnson, who they picked up.
They're going to be a bear to play against.
Yeah, that front's good, and they got corners. So their pass defense is probably top half of the league, which is pretty good from where they were.
Tell you what, they nail the draft, and Cam Ward takes a step forward. They're they're
going the right direction.
They're definitely moving in the right direction. Another name formerly of this parish, linebacker Devin Bush, 3-year, $30 million deal with the Bears, the Chicago Bears, $21 million of that guaranteed. Edmonds is gone.
I forget who he signed with, but he did today too.
There's the replacement.
There's a replacement. I mean, they're very different. One of them's 6'5" and one's 5'5" almost, but it's easy to kind of be like, boy, Bush, he's terrible, haha, and he didn't work out here, but he's coming off a great year. And good for him. I mean, of course you'd want every Steeler that ever wore the black and gold to have their best years here, but that's not the way the world works. So I root for them all to go on and have success, and he definitely had a lot of success with the Browns last year.
I'd much rather see him having success with an NFC team than the Cleveland Browns.
Sure.
Mike Evans on the move.
That's huge news, man.
Huge.
Hall of Fame type guy.
Legendary Hall of Fame, one of the all-time Tampa Bay Buccaneers, signing a 3-year deal.
Oh, really?
With
I assumed it was a 1-year deal. He won't see all 3.
He certainly won't. I'm sure there's some void years and some tinkering there with what they're going to do. But Mike Evans going from the Florida coast to the California coast, and signing with the Niners.
The Niners are a weird team because
they really are.
I mean, I woke up this morning to Trent Williams could be on the trade block, and who knows what's going on with that. All their studs are coming back from major injuries. Kittle blew out his Achilles late in the season, and Bosa and Warner. But they're always going to be. They're never going to be let's just take a step back. They're always going to be an attractive landing spot. I could see why Evans wants to play for him. It's a good spot for him. I mean, he'll get the ball a lot. Pearsall's a guy I like quite a bit, but Kittle's not going to be in the mix for a while. So I get it.
Yeah. He'll flourish in that offense as long as he's healthy. I meant to bring this up when we talked about the Raiders. Speaking of wide receivers, speaking about names that we've discussed in the last few weeks, Jalen Naylor also to Las Vegas, 3 years, $35 million 23 of which guaranteed.
Which at this point doesn't affect the Steelers at all. I mean, once you make the Pittman trade, any A, B, or even maybe C level free agent receiver, I think you're out on. If somebody in like the Calvin Austin neighborhood is still sitting out there in the week, okay, I'll give you a 1 year, $4 million, $5 million deal, maybe. But I think Naylor was off the table the second the Pittman deal happened. But I like it for the Raiders. I mean, again, Genty, Bowers, first overall quarterback. We talked about the interior of the O-line. Colton Miller's on that team still. Most importantly, new coaching staff. Their offense could be respectable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Matt, speaking of respectable offense, I think the Chiefs will get back to doing that in 2026. Super Bowl MVP. Maybe I buried the lead. Maybe I should have started. Maybe I should have started with this one once we got off Steelers and into league-wide stuff. But Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker, running back, has agreed to a deal with the Kansas City Chiefs. 3 years, a little over $43 million. About 28.5 of that guaranteed via Adam Schefter.
It sounds like Kelsey's coming back.
Yeah.
They traded McDuffie, and then they lost Watson, both of whom to the Rams, their secondary. But I think they looked at it. So I'm going to tie this in with a couple ones. The Saints signed ATN, who is an LSU dude. He's
a New Orleans guy.
Yeah. And as well as they signed a guard. But I want to talk about running back landscape just for a minute. Everyone in the world has the Saints or Chiefs taking Love at 9 and 10 or 8 and 9, whatever it is in the draft. I think both of them just looked at it like, there's no chance he's going to get here.
He's not making it that far.
He's not getting past Tennessee and Washington and the Giants. No chance. So let's just sign our guy. And I think Walker to the Chiefs makes tons of sense. I mean, they've kind of ignored that position for a long time.
I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be very...
And he's coming back from injury. Let's make Pat's life a little easier as opposed to the other way around,
Yes. Also, Matt, reports flying now that J.K. Dobbins is going to be returning to the Broncos, that they're close to an agreement.
He was someone I would have had an eye on for the Steelers.
That from Zach Stevens, who covers the Broncos for DNVR, which is one of the media outlets out there. So
he was really good for him while he lasted.
One of the kind of themes of noticing today is running backs are flying off the board pretty quickly.
Yeah, Algiers is going to Arizona, which, now that I think twice about it, I'm sure Connor gets cut, and I wouldn't mind bringing in Connor. Maybe that is the answer. Maybe it's Connor, Warren, Johnson, and a 4th-round pick. I wouldn't hate that. Yeah, Algier was a guy I had an eye on. Dobbins was a guy I had an eye on.
Cowboys agreeing to a 3-year deal with safety Jalen Thompson. He's another name that we had discussed in the last couple of weeks. 3 years, $33 million.
He was, again, there was about 5 safeties. Cook just went to the Bengals. He was another one on my list. But a couple of them are still out there. So I think in the next 24 hours.
Oh, there'll be a second wave of free agency here.
Yeah. I mean, I think we'll know, though, is Ramsey a safety or a slot here probably in the next 24 hours or so. Maybe Thielman's their 1st-round pick now. I mean, like that door opened back up,
Let's have that. Let's have that conversation in hour 2. What to do, what pick 21 looks like now.
A lot different.
It's going to continue to move because, again, the Steelers could make another signing tomorrow that affects that.
Right.
Real quick here, Matt, we got like a minute or two left. Just one or two more of these that I wanted to run by you. Boye Mafe signing a 3-year deal with the Bengals, $60 million. 3 years, $60 million for the Super Bowl champion.
They added Cook and Mafe.
Yes.
They're both about the same age.
Hey, they need to spend some money on that defense.
I think that's I'd rarely compliment them for their free agent or off seasons, but that's a good start.
So Boye Mafe to Cincinnati, Odafe Owe, 4 years, $100 million deal to the Washington Commanders.
Wow.
$68 million of that guaranteed.
Wow. I mean, he's peaking at the right time of his career, super talented, was really good with the Chargers. It was a huge need for the Commanders, and they've been rumored to be linked in with a lot of guys that they kind of like came in second on. So they got money to spend. They're an aggressive organization too. Huh.
We've got some more news coming across the timeline here of signings from Adam Schefter and Jeremy Fowler. We also, Matt, have the NFL's compensatory draft picks for the upcoming draft have been released. So we know exactly what the Steelers got in comp picks for this year. We'll get to all of that in hour number 2, and we'll continue to react to all these moves across the NFL. Halfway home here on a busy day. Hour number 2 on the other side. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It's The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network.
What's up, NFL fans? The NFL Draft is finally here. And while you might not know who your team is drafting this year, you do know your watch party's number 1 pick, Bud Light. The clean, crisp taste that has all the scouts talking. Guess that's why it's been the group's go-to draft beer season after season. Be sure to order a round for the table before your team's on the clock. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Good evening, Steeler Nation. How we doing? Well, that's good. Us too. Hour number 2 here of The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Busy day around the league. Matt, a lot of news that a lot of ground we've been covering, a lot of news flying around. That will continue today and throughout the week. But some significant news across the timeline that is not free agency specific, but is NFL draft related.
Yes.
As the compensatory picks for this year's NFL draft that will be held at the end of April on the North Shore of
I'm surprised
Pittsburgh,
they released
Pennsylvania.
those today.
Same.
They're so good at spacing out news.
I was going to say, it's almost like it's getting buried
Give
today.
it like 2 weeks, and that'll
Or
be the headline
announce it
for a
last,
day.
Announce it Friday of last week or something, you know. But regardless, the NFL compensatory
Now it's
picks
official,
have been finalized. Steelers, Ravens, Eagles lead the way with 4 compensatory picks each.
Okay.
Here's exactly what it looks like. 4 compensatory picks in the 3rd round, going to Minnesota, 97 overall, Philadelphia, 98 overall, Pittsburgh, 99 overall, Jacksonville, 100 overall.
Okay.
So 4 3rd-round picks handed out, and the Steelers do get one of those. The Steelers also get a 4th-round pick,
Nice.
135th overall. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 4th-round comp picks in total.
Real quick, folks, all these comp picks will add up to 32 total picks. So it's like there's 8 rounds of the draft, not 7. They do that every year. I don't know why that they decided to do that, but it's kind of cool.
Okay, makes sense.
Next year, there'll be 32. The year after, there'll be 32. So yeah, that's how they weight them.
Symmetrically, it fits in everything that's going on there. So,
and they are tradable now. A couple years ago, you weren't on a trade, which made me nuts.
Correct. Like the Jacksonville compensatory pick, 100 overall at the end of the 3rd round, is from Detroit.
Trying to think who that's from, but I'm sure we can figure it out.
Yes, I was trying to think the same thing too, and I was drawing a blank. A lot of different names and bullets flying today.
Yeah.
So the Steelers get 3rd round, 99 overall, 4th round, 135 overall.
Nice.
None in the 5th for the Steelers, 2 in the 6th, 214th and 216th.
It's a great haul.
It's a fantastic haul.
It's a great haul. We've started the show talking about the comp game probably more than we should. They don't get anything close to that. But anytime you get extra draft picks, man.
Especially 3rd and 4th rounders.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, none of these teams hit 60% on their draft picks. I mean, so the whole key is just make a lot of picks. You know what I mean? Right. Just make a lot of picks.
It's in a lot of ways, it can be a volume game.
Yeah, it absolutely can.
And we saw that, this is all because Dan Moore Jr. walked and signed a big deal in free agency. Justin Fields and Russell Wilson signed substantial deals in free agency.
And it would have been better if both would have had
17 starts.
Yeah, exactly. Tons of snaps and all that. You may end up with multiple thirds.
Yes.
Right.
Like, spoiler alert, the Baltimore Ravens are going to get a really nice 3rd-round comp pick next year out of the Tyler. Well, I guess depending on what money they spend here, but the Baltimore Ravens, like that Linderbaum exit would favor very well into this formula for them. Yeah,
like Crosby coming in doesn't hurt them.
Right.
Linderbaum going out helps them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is what we know in the compensatory pick game.
Not
now
unexpected.
Official. Not unexpected.
Nice to know.
But now officially official.
Some of these cap guys have gotten so good. I remember when comp picks were out, it was a total mystery of the world of how they get awarded this time of year and be like, oh, I don't know how they got him, but that's great. That's how we were early. But now some of these people have absolutely figured out the formula and get it almost exact every year. So it's not as big a news as it used to be.
It's almost like these people now, it's almost like bracketology in March Madness.
I don't know enough about it, but yes.
You know what I mean? There's the people out there in the world that can tell you 90% accuracy what the bracket's going to look like.
I know what the qualifications are, and I know what the formula is. There's only 32 of these picks. I know where they're going, right.
Matt, some more movement you mentioned busy day for center movement around the league.
Last day or two.
The Packers releasing Elgin Jenkins, two-time Pro Bowl center.
That's kind of like Pittman for me, that I've been kind of biting my tongue, hoping it happens, because he's also a very, very good guard. Ooh. And that, to me, especially if this comp, I keep harping on the comp game, but they sure seem to be relevant with it. If you let Isaac walk and you sign him, you'd be better at the position, and you make money in the comp game. I mean, that could be a 4th-round pick you get in the trade, because a guy like Ciamalu is going to make a legit contract. Yeah. Like, how old's Jenkins? You mind pulling it up?
Give me a second.
Yeah, I bet he's 29, 30. He's had a really good career.
He just turned 30 the day after Christmas, a few months ago.
I'd love to grab that dude. I mean, by the way, Steelers O-line coached him at some point. They definitely overlapped quite a bit. That, to me, would be maybe the next shoe to drop in Steelerland.
I would imagine he's worked with Aaron Rodgers in the past as well.
Had to have. I mean, he's been a Packers'
whole life. He's been there since
life.
2019, so yeah.
Yeah. He's played a little bit of tackle, but he's totally versatile, leader type. They have all kinds of problems. They gave away Rashawn Gary basically for nothing to the Packers, to the Cowboys. We didn't touch on that. So the Packers are just really up against it. I'd be on the phone with him now.
Yeah. Is that of all the different possibilities for adding a veteran?
That's what
I
was hoping would be.
Is that your idea? Age, cost, all in, everything included.
Presenting the type of player you're getting. Yeah. I mean, that's almost like Pittman, where I've been waiting and hoping it gets to that point. Like you needed something to happen with the former organization, and when they traded Gary, I thought, they'll probably just keep Jenkins now. They opened enough room. But I'm glad they didn't, because I'd be all over that.
We have the terms now for Jalen Thompson signing with the Cowboys, doing some business with
Cowboys
that defense.
Cowboys are busy. They think they can win now.
3-year, $36 million deal for Jalen Thompson.
Okay.
In Big D.
So these couple, I haven't seen Cook's contract, but a couple of these safeties that could be out there, they're making decent money. They're making a little more money than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is funny how that works, right? How some of these guys are making more money than we thought. Some are making a little bit less than we thought.
But I guess how you can handle it if you're the Steelers is, Ramsey, you're a safety until further notice, because we're pretty decent in the corner room now, and we might draft one in the first round, and you're not a safety anymore. You know what I mean? Yeah. The Ramsey versatility does give you options. He doesn't have to be pigeonholed right now, one or the other.
It's a good option.
Or even during the season. We've seen him move already. Yeah.
So the Steelers will
that
officially
has the radar up. Yeah.
We'll keep the antennas up and see if there's any movement here before we get out of here today. The Steelers will have 12 picks this year, as we've anticipated. First round, second round, three third rounders.
Dallas's guys. Yeah.
Dallas is for the Pickens trade, their original and a comp pick. 2 4th rounders, Steelers original and a comp pick. Their 5th round pick, 2 6th round comps, a 7th from the Kyle Duggar pick swap, and their 7th. So that's the 12 for your Steelers.
Okay, you probably don't know this answer, but is that after the Pittman trade? I think the Steelers gave up it was never announced what the pick swap was.
That's actually a very good point.
But at most, there's a little change in the 6s and 7s.
Yes.
I mean, I assumed that the Steelers gave up a 6 and got a 7 back with Pittman.
Oh, my goodness, Matt. Via Adam Schefter, Dolphins quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa plans to sign a 1-year deal with the Atlanta Falcons.
This was rumored early in the day.
2 southpaws there in Atlanta.
That's like the only thing they have in common, though. They play so differently. I don't understand this one, to be honest with you. I mean, I assume Tua signs the same deal that Wilson and Kyler will, that the old team's just going to pay the whole deal, so you get them for $1 million a year or whatever. I mean, that almost has to be the case, because when these dudes are released and they take a massive dead money hit, the new team's not going to give them any money because they're getting paid by the old folks. Why would you do that? I guess Stefanski likes them, but why I say he's different than Penix is a hold the ball, drive the ball down the field.
Yes.
he ran a really good 40, Penix, but he doesn't play that way. They're both pocket passers, but one of them is a old school 80s Bradshaw, hold the ball in the pocket, get drilled in the teeth 3 seconds
and
in.
that was great when you were at Washington and had a couple first-round picks on your offensive line and a couple first-round picks at wide receiver.
Yeah. And I have my doubts about Penix, but if this is his only competition, he might be better than Tua. I mean, he's coming off an injury too, but Tua is a get the ball out now guy. You know, it's just way different.
They are vastly different.
Yeah, I think they signed a wideout too, not a huge one, but they signed somebody.
The Falcons.
Yeah,
okay, we'll have to look into
because Mooney's leaving. I think they signed Zacchaeus back and maybe somebody else. So that offense, they lose Algier. I'm just curious how different it looks with Stefanski.
Kwity Paye is on the move. The Raiders continue to spend some. Hey, the Raiders and the Titans.
Raiders, just do it.
Raiders and Titans. You got money, spend it.
Yeah.
Former Colt Kwity Paye, 3-year, $48 million deal, $32 million guaranteed with the Raiders.
Recent first-round pick. He's never going to be Batman, but he's an okay 2-ish type guy. Hasn't quite lived up to expectations, but a quality player. I mean, I'm saying he's bad.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he'll start for them immediately.
Yes.
And his best days might be ahead, too. He was like an extreme tester at his combine.
It's funny. There's a lot of people on Twitter that are like, I can finally breathe easy now that Tua is not going to be a Steeler. I don't think that was ever. I don't think that was ever.
If that was keeping you up at night, you should not have let that keep you up at night.
Yes, correct.
Oh, I should have mentioned, too, speaking of Dolphins, I got a lot of, why did the Steelers trade for Minka? Well, they weren't allowed.
Correct. I mean, yes, I'm glad I actually meant to say that. I'm glad you brought that up. Because on the surface, that seems like a 7th-round pick for Minka.
Yeah,
I'd
do the same
to
thing
bring
you
that
do
guy
with
back.
Pittman, right? I mean, you only have so many dollars. You can only do that so many times. But I mean, he's a way better player than a 7th-round pick. But they are not allowed to because of the trade rules.
Yes, according to Connor Hughes, who covers the Jets and the Giants for SNY TV in New York City, both the Jets and the Giants calling the Jags, who are entertaining offers for wide receiver Brian Thomas.
Interesting.
He's another name that we mentioned a little bit. He had a little bit of a down year, but he's still so young and so versatile.
Would you still consider for the Steelers? Because basically what you weigh is, I'm guessing he's a 2nd-round pick. Now, if the Jets or Giants offer a 2nd-round pick, you're not going to get him for your 2nd-round pick.
Sure.
The Steelers, because they're lower.
What's his contract? Like, is he going to need a new contract right away?
No, because he's just finished year 2 as a 1st-round pick. So you get him this year, next year on a rookie deal.
Plus a potential
5th-round option. But basically all that comes down to, like, I only bring it up because I assumed that was totally off the table after the Pittman move. Just draft one, get younger. But he's the only one I'd even consider that I know what I'm buying as opposed to a rookie.
His cap hit's under $5 million
it's like nothing,
for the next 2 seasons.
He's super valuable. I think he gets moved because the Jags don't have a 1st-round pick because of the Hunter deal. So they just need more draft capital in general. And he doesn't really fit the new offense. And Hunter would just go back to playing wide receiver if he leaves, which is what they really want him to do.
Yes, and that's maybe a little bit of a risk because he's still an unproven commodity at the NFL level.
Incredible,
but he
could be.
He was a 2nd-round pick overall for a reason.
Yeah.
Would you? All right, let's do the hypothetical game then, Matt Williamson. Would you give up the Steelers' 53rd overall pick, 2nd-round pick for Brian Thomas Jr. right now?
I think
I might.
I mean, boy, he's different than these other guys.
Then you're done.
Oh,
you're done.
You're done
in your wide receiver room. Maybe you add a late one of those 6th-round compensatory picks or something.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, it's overkill in terms of trades, but I know what I'm buying. He isn't the phenomenal fit here. If you're looking at it from a West Coast offense,
only 23 years old.
I know he's a puppy. Oh. He's big, fast. I mean, he's coming off a great rookie year and a subpar 2nd year because he didn't fit as well. But he got a lot better as the year went on. Maybe. I mean, that's a lot of resources all going to wide receiver. But big, strong, fast, down the field player. Why I say he's not a great fit is he's not a get open now, West Coast, slant you to death guy. I think that's more the Pittman role. And Metcalf's good at the slants and stuff like that too. But he's a little different than what you got. I think there'll be a market for him. I don't know if 53 gets it done, though. I mean, if you're fighting the Jets or Giants or somebody
Nuts
like
that he's
that.
only
yeah.
23 years old.
I know. That's the thing. You get a 23-year-old. You mentioned it with Linderbaum, the way you phrase it. Like, it's rare to have the opportunity to get a guy like that.
At that age.
At that age, it doesn't kill your cap,
Interesting thing to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Certainly.
But I bet he moves.
Let's talk about. We're going to keep an eye on everything that's going on here, and we're going to continue to obviously rapid fire all the breaking news. We're going to talk to Christian Kuntz about 20, 30 minutes from now. But when we come back on the other side, what's today mean for? Let's look at it through the lens of the Steelers draft and how maybe what we thought last week has started to shift here, and what could still change in the coming days and weeks. Plenty more to get to as we roll along. Uhler, Williamson, it's The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Busy one here, and we're trying to keep tabs on all of it on negotiating day across the NFL. We will, obviously, any other breaking news or significant announcements, we'll get right to. Matt, pick 21 for the Steelers. It's funny how just in the short span of a couple weeks, everything you think changes.
Yeah.
What would you say is the most likely, and I think it's a small piece of the pie at this point, but what would you say is the most likely outcome at pick 21?
I don't know that there is one now. I mean, obviously, a day ago, the most likely outcome was a wideout.
Yes.
Lemon or, whoever. Now, let's just do this real quick. I mean, like, I could see any of these scenarios. I'm not condoning any, or I'm just saying these would be something I could buy. Bama quarterback, why did I forget his name?
Ty Simpson.
That's on the table. I mean, there's some people think he's a top 15 pick. I'm not there yet, but whatever. That's on the table now. Vega would be really, really hard to pass up at this point.
Yes, he would.
Yeah, and a lot of people thought he'd just go to the Ravens. Well, they don't know first-round pick anymore, too. Can he fall to 21? I don't know, but
do the Raiders slide in there and say thanks? We'll take him.
Yeah, but they said Linderbaum, and maybe they would. Coincidentally, we're recording this tomorrow, a next mock, and I put
you're talking for Steelers.com.
For Steelers.com
nice.
Tomorrow with Max and Pursuta. But I didn't even do this to make it easy on myself. I had Vega go into the Raiders with that, or with the Ravens to that pick, and then Max Crosby trade happened. I'm like, I'd still take him for the Raiders. But that was before Linderbaum. But still, he could definitely land a lot of different spots. But I would consider that. Would you consider a tackle?
If you made me
like Freeling, or
if you made me do the, I thought you meant defensive tackle, but you're talking offensive
I'm just going
tackle.
position. I'll get there.
Yeah, I still think so. Right now, I would bump wide receiver obviously down a little bit, and cornerback down a little bit.
I'd bump cornerback down a lot.
Yes, now
I'm kind of going position by position.
Right now, safety, defensive line, offensive line feel like the big three.
Yeah. Let me talk through it, though. Simpson?
I love it.
Vega.
Yes.
I think both those I would understand.
If they're both there at 21.
Yeah. And I might not even want Simpson. I mean, that might be next year's project, like always. But it's on the table still.
Yes.
Would you consider the left tackle of the future that might be a guard this year in the meantime?
With the business they've done today, I'd consider pretty much anything.
Because if you can if you can put yourself in a position to draft a tackle, I know Broderick didn't work out splendidly, but it's such a good financial move.
It is.
I mean, because you don't want to have to take one next year, especially if you have to take a quarterback next year. You know what I mean? Like, you'd love to check that box. I still think Lemon or Tyson could happen, but I lean towards way less likely. I think that's a day 2 receiver. Is there a D tackle you like enough? To me, that's only Banks.
Same. To this point. At 21.
At 21.
Yeah.
And I'd love to be in that position.
Would the 2 dreaded words, trade down, enter your lexicon at all?
For all these. Because if I'm thinking about a receiver, there's probably 3 or 4 you like. If I'm thinking about a tackle, there could be 2 or 3 you like.
Unless it's the one guy at 21 that you've said, this is our guy at tackle.
Yes.
Freeling's still there or something like that.
I butcher his name. That's why I'm avoiding it. But like if Arizona State
Ian
dude's there, yeah, if you can get him at 26, put him at guard, and then he goes to left tackle next year.
You can just call him Mad Max from now on.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I know there's going to be receivers.
Yes.
Banks to me is the only defensive tackle you can convince
at 21.
me. Yeah, that makes sense. But boy, it'd be nice to put yourself in a position to do that. As it stands today, I can't see an off-the-ball linebacker. I can't see an edge. I can't see a corner anymore either.
Safety's
high on the list.
The Vegas odds for safety just got a little bit less. Meaning,
more.
Well,
or they don't pay as well.
They don't pay as well.
Yeah.
Dylan Theneman.
But I think he's the only one for me.
You're not a
it's
Emmanuel
not his
McNeil
fault.
Warren
He's just
guy,
more
are you?
strong than free.
Yeah.
So if I'm just thinking of names, it's Simpson, Vega, Banks, Thineman, offensive tackle, receiver.
Yeah.
And the short of it is, you just laid it out. They have 5 picks in the top 3 rounds. Let's say you don't go quarterback this year.
Okay.
You're definitely still taking a receiver.
Yeah, at some point, sure.
I think you're definitely taking a safety.
At some point, absolutely.
I think you're definitely taking an offensive lineman.
You better.
And maybe 2. And maybe a
defensive lineman?
I mean,
Yeah.
like you're set up with 5 premium picks to address those if you don't do anything in free agency pretty well. And folks, this is an accident. This is what teams do. I mean, they lay this stuff out to set up the next move. It's all chess.
It certainly
you're
is.
right, but the board changes. It's on a nice flat board. The board's like this. And they're going to add something else in free agency.
They're not done.
They're not. There's no way they're done.
There's no chance that they're done.
They have to add another running back.
Whether it happens in the next 24, 48 hours or whether it happens a week from now.
It might be the second we stop it. We might be driving home. I mean, there's going to be a lot happening tonight.
Yes. You know what? Don't do it while we're driving home, okay? Save it for. But I
give us something to talk about.
Give us something to talk about tomorrow. But this free agency happens in waves. Big names first, big money first. Then you have that second wave that's probably going to hit tomorrow, Wednesday time frame. Yeah. And then there could even be some moves in the following week.
Then you start to get bargains like, we don't really need that guy, but we'll pluck him off the wire. Right?
Yes. And
if they sign anyone between now and tomorrow, do you think it's a safety?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
maybe like Siamalu.
That's a good call. I was going to say
Jenkins.
I was going to say one of those nosy-ish 32-year-olds that we've discussed.
They usually aren't super hot commodities.
Right.
Usually you can wait on them,
I'm trying to remember, but I think one of either Deshaun Elliott or Kenneth Gainwell was like late in, like a couple weeks into the free agency process. I don't think it was Deshaun.
Neither one
Elliott.
Was right off the bat.
But this is normal.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of the guys that won't be signed for a few more days, they're on the phones with their agents and having conversations, and
they'll be nervous in 2 days. Then becomes a buyer's market.
Exactly right.
Oh yeah,
exactly right. Because
and they didn't become worse players in the last 2 days.
Now a lot of these guys are, kind of hoping to get that offer that they want. Still holding out hope for another day or so or two, but that will change eventually as well. Man,
so I think they're set up pretty well, considering what picks they have. I'm sure they have a lot of. I don't know how much cap space they have left, but I'm sure it's substantial.
Some good numbers here. Who just sent me these? Andrew on Twitter. Thanks to Andrew. New Steelers cornerback Jamel Dean. We've done this in the past when we talk about Cam Hayward and what he means to the Steelers' run game and the splits with the Steelers' run defense of him on the field versus him off the field. Jamel Dean, last year on the field versus off the field. When he played for the Bucs, when he was on the field versus when he wasn't. They had the 11th best EPA per pass attempt when he was on the field, 32nd when he was off the field. 14th best pass defense success when he was on the field, 31st when he was off the field.
Wow.
They gave up just 7 yards per attempt when he was on the field, 12th best in the NFL, 31st best when he was off the field. And their secondary was rated number 10 in the league with him on the field, number 32 in the league with him off the field.
Wow. Some on-off splits I can take with a grain of salt,
sure.
But when they're that drastic, they mean something.
It's like it's like the Cam Hayward that we used to talk about 2 years ago.
Right. I mean, it'd be different if you were talking about like a Packer and Oh, by the way, that's also when Micah Parsons got hurt. Like sometimes you can massage those things. Like maybe there was another reason the defense got worse. It wasn't the corner, but that's not the case here. And the splits are so drastic. That means something.
Yes, of course. If you're just jumping in the car, if you're just joining us and tuning in and you've been busy today, those are
I think you're pretty darn happy the two guys you added.
Jamel Dean and Michael Pittman Jr. Pittman Jr. for we're still trying to find out exactly what, but a late draft pick for the Steelers. Those two on the way in. 28-year-old wide receiver, 29-year-old cornerback. James Pierre has signed a 2-year deal with the Minnesota Vikings. Kenneth Gainwell has signed a 2-year deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Those are the only two that have departed. Kept Holcomb, kept the other corner.
Sunday Samuel Jr.
Yeah.
Yes. So right now, still need a decision at quarterback. Still need a decision for another running back. Still need a decision on wide receiver 3 and that left side of the offensive line. But Jaylen Warren, DK Metcalf, Michael Pittman Jr., your 2 tight ends in Freiermuth and Washington, and then obviously Frazier, McCormick, Faltanu on the right side, the center and right side of that offensive line. We've got our final segment to get to, kind of cross any final T's and dot any I's of the day's free agency proceedings. All of that as we wrap this thing up. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It is The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Back on The Drive, it is our final segment of this free agent frenzy first day, folks. It's only going to continue. There's going to be more.
It's awesome.
It is. It's a lot of fun. This is perhaps, and we have a lot of these days, Matt, but this is perhaps the easiest content day of the year.
You can't keep up.
I mean, you
don't have to create anything. There's a million signings I want to talk about. We haven't even. They're way down the list.
Exactly right.
They're going to be like next week till we get to them.
Yes, and we are efforting our buddy Christian Kuntz here. Going to try and get him on in this final segment. If not, we will catch up with him sometime soon. He's doing a really cool new podcast series on the football legacy of Western Pennsylvania, kind of in tandem with the NFL Films, The Football Town, that's showing now at the Cayman Science Center. Make sure you're checking that out ahead of. I mean, Matt, it's easy to kind of throw on the back burner because we were just at the Combine and free agency and so much happening. But like 6 weeks from now, one of the biggest football events and just events in general ever in the history of Pittsburgh is going to be a few miles away from us on the North Shore.
Yeah.
It's all happening real quick.
Yeah. I mean, like I always get geared up for the draft and all that. And today's not even a day to think about what's coming in the future. It's hard enough to keep up with the present. But that's massive, man.
Oh.
I mean, just like you said, in the history of Western PA football is the draft this year. What's only been like 6 or 7 cities ever? I mean, it's always was New York my whole life. It was
in Radio City Music Hall for the longest time.
Forever. Yeah. I'd cut school and I'd watch it on, in 1985,
You can admit that now.
I've told the story many times.
It's the one day your mom would let you skip school,
I
right?
could have 104 fever. She'd be like, take an aspirin and go to school. But I mean, draft day, I was not going.
That's a fair balance.
I got more out of that draft day than I did geometry class for my career. That's for sure.
You certainly did.
Yeah.
Look where you're sitting right now.
Good move by Joni Williamson.
Big shout out to Joni. Matt, speaking of one of the moves that we have not discussed, James Conner, another one of these running backs that we've mentioned as a potential for the Steelers.
I think the Cardinals are all of a sudden got interesting.
They might have one running back too many.
And one quarterback too many.
Quarterback too many, yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but they have now Brissett, Jimmy G.
Sounds like they're agreed to a deal with Jimmy Garoppolo after they kind of struck out with Malik Willis.
And an injured Minshew.
Yes.
I don't know how injured he is, but I mean, he got hurt late in the year filling in for Mahomes. They're not going with.
You talking Arizona or Kansas City?
Arizona.
Okay. So not Minshew.
No, I think all three are there. Is Minshew a Cardinal? Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Sorry. Yeah, my fault.
No team goes in with like 3.
Good Lord, I totally forgot about that.
So they have 3 backup retreads.
3 backup quarterbacks.
There's no way all 3 are going to be there.
They also now have 3 running backs too, and James Conner, Tyler Algier, and Benson, and Trey Benson.
So if you signed Algier today and you restructured Conner,
re-signed.
Those 2 are going to be there. Jimmy G and Minshew are going to be there.
Yes.
Which then leads me to, is Trey Benson going to be there? is Brissett going to be there? Now, I'm not, from a Steelers lens, I'm a big Jacoby Brissett fan, but that can't be your answer for the Steelers. Yeah, I mean, even if you sign Rodgers, I don't want him as backup. I mean, but maybe he's the Jets guy or somebody like that. I would think Brissett now is on the move because you don't go into the season with just 3 old retread quarterbacks and nothing else.
Wouldn't make sense, even for a franchise like Arizona who does some wonky stuff. That would be.
If you added Simpson to the mix, I would understand it, or something like that. But still, you don't get. That's a weird quarterback room as it stands today, and it's a weird running back room. I mean, I don't love Benson, but he's big and fast, and he's coming off an injury too.
Yeah,
they're all big backs. I mean, the Cardinals want 3 225+ pound guys.
And maybe they are looking at it. Benson was banged up last year. James Conner only played 3 games last year. Maybe they're kind of looking at it as we need all these options because
they were the worst running back room in the room.
Algier might be the only one who plays the full 17 games.
Maybe, but it's just 2 weird rooms all of a sudden in Arizona.
It seems like they've got.
And if they could turn Benson or Brissett into a pick, picks would have to be the most valuable thing for that team. You know,
would you be interested in Benson or no?
Yes, but at a discount. He was an early second-round pick from what I remember. Real good size, speed dude. Combine was strong, but I didn't love him then, and he's shown some flashes since. But I'm offering you like a 5th-round pick.
Yeah.
I mean, that type of move, which, again, in the comp world, doesn't hurt you at all as opposed to signing somebody else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. He did just here. He's 23 years old. Will turn 24 this summer in July.
And he doesn't have much tread off of his tires, partially because he's struggled to stay on the field a little bit. I think he was kind of a one-year wonder at Florida State from what I remember. But he's big and he's fast, and he would be a nice compliment. You know, Warren would be my 1, and he'd be my bigger back / breakaway ability. We always talk about explosives. He can create explosives, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're right. If you're getting them for pennies on the dollar, if it's a discount rate,
it's just weird for them to make those moves in those 2 position rooms.
They can't be done with those two groups.
The writing's on the wall there.
We've got a backlog of tweets. We'll continue to get to these.
Giants are re-signing Illuminor too. That just happened 1 minute ago. He was the best offensive tackle on the market. He's the 15th best right tackle in the league who keeps getting better, but that has a lot of value, you know.
Also looks like D. Alford is signing with the Bills, cornerback, 3 years, $21 million.
Wow, okay. It's a lot for him, too.
That's a lot. The Bills are a little desperate.
I don't know what the Bills are doing.
A little desperate out here, Matt Williamson.
I'm starting to question their organization more and more.
I just know the Rams, whenever Matt Stafford finally does retire, they're going to have some. We trade 5 first-round picks for Joe Burrow, trade 5 first-round picks for Josh Allen. Who's going to be out there for us that's disgruntled with what their franchise is doing? All right, let's get to a couple tweets here as we round out the show. T-Mac tweets and says he loves the idea of second-round pick for Brian Thomas Jr. and selecting Dylan Thieneman at 21.
And I assume this came after the Pittman news.
Yes.
Pretty nice infusion of talent,
Man,
especially at the wide receiver
position. That'd be about as aggressive as we've seen the Steelers get in a long time.
That is aggressive for sure. And I'm with you. I still might throw a 5th-round pick at a receiver. I mean, that's greedy, but there's so many.
Yeah. And you want to, again, it's that would start to look like a really nice nest for whoever your future franchise quarterback is.
Yeah. So, you know how I like to think from all angles on this stuff. If you were to make the Thomas move, you could even trade Metcalf.
Oh.
I don't think that would be in the cards at all. But if they weren't thrilled with how he handled himself on the sidelines, you know, I'm just saying there's always options.
There's always options.
Like, I don't think it's 1,000% chance Freiermuth doesn't get traded or Queen or, you know, I mean, like, things still can happen, you know.
Interesting one here from Smooth Dave. Smooth Dave tweets and says, since the Steelers aren't losing any high-dollar free agents, does it make sense to chase comp picks this year? Why not just sign all the best talent we can and not worry about some extra 6th or 7th round comp picks?
Yeah, this has been a big topic today just because I didn't see it coming, and all their moves have indicated that it's important to them, and I'm sure – and since Omar's taken over, it's been important to them, and I think that's something they were lagging behind, and now they're at the top of the league in terms of utilizing that tool. But I don't think it should be the end-all, be-all. You know, I mean, if there's some running back they love that's going to screw up their comp pick, or some tackle or whoever, great, sign them. Because, to the point, I mean, chasing 6th and 7th round picks doesn't have that much value. But, for example, Elgin Jenkins gets cut today. He hasn't affected at all. I would have loved him if he was a free agent, period. But now if he's a cut guy, I like him even more. It breaks all ties, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Fair. That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it.
If you're between Dean and Alontae Taylor, one of them crushes your comp game and one doesn't even affect it, well, you take the other guy.
Ian tweeted us this morning, 9:36, and said, "Happy Tampering Day, Wes and Matt. I hope by the time you guys go on air, we have a veteran wide receiver. If we don't, how concerned are you with the wide receiver group?" Well, guess what?
Yeah.
Check. Done.
Now I think the wide receiver group has I expect now when we get to camp, we'll say the wide receiver group is a strength of this team. We haven't said that for Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Since
it was
I mean?
AB and Mike Wallace and
like,
Emmanuel Sanders.
Like this is
or maybe that year with Juju, where Juju was really good, and AB in 2018.
I mean, like Bryant was really good and some of those dudes too, but that's been a while.
Yes.
Juju hasn't been here for a long time.
Let's see here. JPA tweets us and says, according to Jeremy Fowler, the Eagles are indeed fielding trade calls for Jalen Carter. Should we have interest or no?
I don't think so, because it'd be really expensive.
He will not be cheap.
They gave Jordan Davis a big contract, and I don't think they'll be able to do both. So I definitely think there's a chance Carter moves. Here's the problems with Carter. When he's right, he's unbelievable. I think he's one of the best young defensive tackles.
He's a force.
He is a force. He had 2 shoulder surgeries during the season last year, which he came back and played after, so I'm sure they were minor. But I don't like 2 shoulders for a defensive tackle. You know he's got some off-the-field stuff, at least going back to the draft. That's documented. He's been clean ever since. But the fact that the Eagles gave Davis such a big contract means they picked him over Carter, and they know best. You know, but he's one of the best in the league.
Yeah, he certainly is. Yeah. He certainly is. He's an interesting case.
Yeah,
because there's some injury stuff. There's some.
Yeah, you'd have to. But I could wash all those things away. The injuries might not even be a thing anymore. Right. Cam Hayward takes him under his wing.
Steeler Nation 920 tweets,
but that's a first-round pick plus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's Quinnen Williams.
That's not a pennies on the dollar type guy. Steeler Nation 920 wants to know, J.K. Dobbins gone, Algier gone. Do we still need a banger at running back? What's the plan?
I'm having a hard time seeing this plan.
Yeah.
I think that's starting to dry up
That
pretty
market
quick.
dried up pretty quickly.
Yeah. Now, I'd never overspend for a running back unless it was a superstar.
Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, you're not getting him.
That's not happening, folks.
I'm not big on taking like Price out of Notre Dame in the 2nd round, or another rookie and just counting on him. So I don't know where that'll come, but that position opportunity always presents itself. Someone will get cut, or someone will become a trade candidate. I'm not real excited about like signing Pacheco.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be another name.
No, because that's another part.
I'm like,
that's not a hammer in the backfield.
No, I'd say that doesn't do much for me.
Lou tweets and says, with the acquisition of Pittman, does this change the type that you are looking for the Steelers to acquire as a wide receiver in the draft? Are you looking for someone who's a little more slotty? Is it someone who's going to settle in as a 3rd wide receiver? Someone like KC Concepcion? I think I get what Lou's asking there.
Yeah.
And this is something you've kind of been harping on all off season. If you're going to do the smaller, twitchier, shiftier wide receiver, fine, but you better have 2 big bodies on the boundary.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have 2 big bodies on the boundary. Does that
I would say yes.
Can you cast a wider net of the other wide receivers you're looking to add now?
I think that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Like, now I don't think there's anything off the table. Let's assume they make no more free agent wide receiver moves or trades or Brian Thomas or anything like that, and they're pigeonholing best available wide receiver in round 2 or day 2. I almost don't care what shape and size he is. It could be the little dude from Georgia, the little dude from Oklahoma, where before that wasn't going to be my first investment. Pittman can also play a lot of slot.
Yes.
By the way. Yeah.
Versatile guy.
Yeah. So even if it is a Brian Thomas outside the numbers dude, well, Pittman's your slot.
Peasy Jr. season tweets us and says, "This is all great, but when are they going to announce the Joey Porter Jr. contract extension?"
Not for a while.
Not for a while.
Yeah, that's probably a training camp thing.
That's
same with
July,
Herbig and
July or August.
Washington.
We've talked about this a little bit before, but the Steelers like to, in the dog days of summer, when you've been beating each other up and sleeping in dorm rooms for a couple weeks and everyone's getting a little agitated and getting a little on each other's nerves and all those
cheer
things.
Cheer everybody up.
Bang, with a big contract extension.
This could be you in a year. You keep it up, right?
Exactly right. Annie tweets.
But that's way down. All those extension stuffs are way down the line. Because you don't even save any cap space now. Those guys aren't making enough money to.
And you want to get your draft picks in and have a real kind of holistic picture of the cap and the roster and all that stuff.
There was times like, when's the Watt extension happening? Well, because that would open a lot of cap space for this year. Like on the rookies, it doesn't get you anywhere.
Annie tweets us and says, is Max Crosby to the Ravens a bigger problem for the Steelers or the Bengals? Also, does Patrick Graham's familiarity help at all when game planning against him?
Probably. I mean, I doubt that Patrick Graham's being consulted on that now. I would think Ravens week, he'll walk over to the offensive side of the building or eat lunch with the offensive coordinator or whoever, and Max doesn't like this. He does like that, whatever. And they might be watching 10 games of tape in the Ravens uniform and be like, no, he's nothing like that now. Or you're 100% right. Or it's just another resource, I'm sure. He knows him well.
RJ tweets us and says 2 questions for you guys. 1, are you doing anything special with the show for the draft since it's in Pittsburgh? And 2, how much realistic spending can the Steelers do in the rest of free agency, factoring in the money they will need for draft picks?
Well, I definitely am not up to date with the exactly where the cap is.
Yeah,
that's going to take fast.
That's going to take a little time here to come fully into picture. The Steelers,
but by no way are they filled up.
No, they still have money. I don't think they can go out and sign a $30 million player or something like that. But
no, right.
They're keeping money for a quarterback. They're keeping money for their draft picks.
Yeah,
they're still going to add, I would at least another piece or two.
I would think
in the coming days and weeks. So yeah, realistic spending.
But they're not handcuffed at all.
No, they're not handcuffed at all. They can't go out and spend like the Titans and the Raiders have today, but they've still got plenty of options.
I also think they could, if they wanted to desperately, they could restructure Ramsey. They could restructure Cam or Watt or somebody like that too, or Highsmith, or and make some money if needed.
And in terms of if we're doing anything special for the draft, just stay tuned.
Don't know.
Right? We let's get through this week first.
Yeah.
Huh? Let's get through this week first. But yeah, we're still trying to finalize all that. Let's see here, Matt. I think we got time for like one more. T-Mac tweets and says, you mentioned the possibility of moving someone like Patrick Queen. What would that take for you to make that deal?
Yeah, it's a hard one. Because
that is a hard one.
I don't want to necessarily, because you would downgrade from Queen to Holcomb as a starter. And you'd have to add at least one more guy there, if not 2. But I would like to add a linebacker in the draft because it's a good linebacker class. And they still could, with or without a Queen move. I would think it's like a 3rd. Like, I'm not dumping them for a 5. I think Queen in a new defense could be very fruitful.
Yeah.
That would take a lot of convincing.
Absolutely.
And I know the team loves him and respects him, and he's got all the toughness and attitude they want.
And that stuff matters.
That stuff matters a lot. And he's a Green Dog guy.
That stuff certainly matters. Matt, couple last news and notables here. The Broncos re-signing Alex Singleton, 2-year deal, $15.5 million.
Okay. That's 2 linebackers they have that they brought back.
And it is now, well, I guess, again, because this is all still in none of this becomes official. These are all reports and agreements. You mentioned Jermaine Illuminor, 3 years, $39 million to stay with the Giants. And it sounds like we have the answer that Travis Kelce, yes, will return for one more season.
Okay.
1 year, $12 million deal with some extra incentives, according to Adam Schefter.
Okay. This morning they said that they think he's coming back, and they didn't mention, because he was a true free agent, too. It wasn't just a retirement type situation.
Right.
I mean, I can't imagine how it would ever happen, but he could have signed with Seattle if he wanted.
Sure.
Right.
Sure. Right. Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to happen. But
crossed his mind, but right.
Yeah. So, listen, covered a lot of ground today Had a lot of things happening, a lot of bullets flying, a lot of information all over the place. We'll continue that
when
tomorrow.
things calm down, we'll go around the division, we'll go around the league.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we'll have more thoughts on today's business by the time we're in here in another 22 hours. And so, but that was a lot of fun today, Matt.
Oh, I love this day, yeah.
A lot of fun. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it too. Thanks for rocking and rolling with us. Thanks for everybody that was chiming in on Twitter. We'll get to more of your tweets as the week rolls along. Big thanks to Nathan on the ones and twos, Mr. TV, Tyler V, producing on the video side of things. For Matt Williamson, I'm Wes Uhler. Take care, everybody, and we will talk to you tomorrow. As always, you know where to find us. It's on your 24/7 home of the Black and Gold, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network.